This tutorial is to walk you through setting up a Moodle glossary. The first thing you need to do is turn your editing on in the upper right hand corner so that you can get the activity drop down box. I'm going to do this in block 2. So you will click add an activity, you will drop down to glossary. And when you think of a glossary, you'll think of like a glossary you find in the back of a book. That's what the glossary is set up to do. There's like a dictionary style, but we're going to set up like a true glossary. And so keep that in mind, but the difference is this can be interactive, so you can actually require that students include pictures or sound or video or anything like that. So it's a dynamic type of glossary. So you need to give it a name. For mine, I'm going to say technology glossary. That will be the link that students will click on when they are going to add to the glossary. In this section, again, you need to be able to tell them exactly what your expectations are. So maybe you're going to have them read chapter 1 and choose 2 glossary terms to add to the classroom glossary. So I might put something like that. So you add directions here. Then you need to also tell them how many points it's worth. For the sake of this glossary, I'll say 15 points. You need to tell them what has to be included in the entry. So it might include the concept, the description, and a picture. You can decide whatever that is. So all of your instruction goes in that box. This next box is how many entries do you want to be shown per page, and I would not do more than 10. I think 10 is a decent number. You could always have 5 or 8 or whatever you want to decide. I'm going to leave it at 10. Glossary type is either a secondary glossary or a main glossary. Now I'm going to leave it as a secondary glossary, but what the main glossary is it would be like a broad subject glossary that would be on your site, and then if you created a secondary glossary, you could showcase the best additions, the best entries in the main glossary. So you can import into the main glossary. So you can decide on that. Duplicated entries allowed. This is saying that 2 people cannot choose the same concept or the same vocabulary term. There is a workaround on this, so keep that in mind. Like if a student were to add a little asterisk or a smiley face or spell it wrong, it is going to add it in. So it's good to keep it at no, but just know that can still happen. Allowing comments, that means other students could comment on someone else's entry. One way I saw this used very effectively was in a math glossary where the teacher put up a math vocabulary term and then included a sample problem, and she did it incorrectly and she allowed comments, and she gave extra points to the first person who commented with what was wrong. So that was kind of a good idea. Print view means that a student can hit a print button and print the glossary. Automatically linking, I'm going to hit no. That means anywhere you type that term on your web page, it'll be linked back to the glossary so they can go and look at what the entry is. Approved by default means it automatically is added to the glossary. If you hit no, that means you have to moderate it and say yes, it can be added, or no, it cannot. For display format, and this is really important, you want this to be full with author. That makes grading much easier. So I would keep it at full with author. All of these are links they can choose on, like to click on an L to see all the L terms. Show all is to show everything. So just leave those the way they are. Edit, I put yes. That will allow them to edit their entry if they misspelled something or they put something up that they didn't like, and they can change it. Alright, you're not going to have entries rated, but you could rate them if you wanted to, unless you added a grade. So for me, I wanted it to be worth 15 points, as you can see in my description. So I am going to use rating. I'm going to have that only I can rate it, and I'm going to go down to 15 points. And I'm not going to restrict the ratings at all. That's just how I'm going to grade it. Here are those same types of controls that you have in Moodle, where you can choose to show it to the student or not show it. And we're going to hit save and display. That will show you what yours looks like. It should look a lot nicer than this. This is just a sample, but this is how you set up a Moodle glossary.